I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for attending tonight. Roll call, please.
Lois Tiley, absent. Diane Dennis, absent. Marie Rowe.
Here.
Richard Horner.
Here.
Michael Nesbitt.
Present.
Kathy Harris.
Here.
And Sarah Tiley.
Here.
Are there any changes to the agenda?
I'd like to eliminate new business item H, annual surplus policy. We will discuss next month. We do have some absences due to health and illness, and hope to have everybody back in November.
If there's no more changes, do I hear a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
I move to accept and amend.
I support.
Second?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Announcements and public comments. Anybody wish to speak?
I have this is more for everybody rather than.
Please come up front. and-
Oh, the podium. I didn't want to do that.
I don't blame you.
All right, Jenny, these are for you.
Oh, thank you.
I have the privilege of being your township clerk, which means I run your election. Everybody. So I wanted to let you know that we have sample ballots available. There are a lot of proposals, and there's a lot in the proposals. Just reading the headline doesn't really tell you as much as you need to know. I also put a link on the township page where you can go find your ballot, and if Hart would mind sharing that on your Facebook page.
I posted it about 2 hours before you did.
Oh, you little show off. I didn't even have to go find it. I
You
could've
should have
just
shared
got it from
ours.
you. And that is, basically all I really had. If you want absentee ballots, I brought Jenny applications for those, but they have to come to the township. They cannot come back here. So you'll need to bring them down to the township office. Other than that, let's all vote. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
I would just,
Anyone else?
I would just add to that, I know there's some people, candidates in the crowd. Should you be victorious, your term would begin November 20th. You will receive an email from me with the capital improvement plan, the budget, the general law village handbook, parks and recreation plan, the master plan, the planning commission, code rewrites and updates to read through, so that you come in with all the information you need. So just want to let you know.
Yeah, ready? Please give your name and
Hi.
you have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Sarah Cox. I read the mission statement of the village council after listening to a recording of last month's council meeting. For those of you that don't know the mission statement, it reads, to be a welcoming, desirable community for families to call home. I've called the village of St. Charles home for 41 years. I enjoy the community and also cherish the sense of security and safety while raising a family. I want to thank the local law enforcement for giving my family and I that sense of security while expanding your efforts directly into the school district. Several kids have expressed feeling more secure and comfortable knowing that they are better protected with the resource officer. As a parent, it also helps ease some of my own fears. When I heard the recording from the last village council meeting, I was disgusted what I heard. I heard the village council members degrading our law enforcement officers, and that is absurd. I heard a lack of respect for the laws by one of the council members, and many had a lack of respect for the officers and the work they do on a daily basis. The lack of knowledge and education regarding the job duties of a police officer amongst council members is disturbing. I encourage council members to become familiar with law enforcement training and education. Police officers are there to protect, serve, provide safety information and education to community members. Village council members are saying, we don't care what you are trained to do, this is what you are going to do. What education or knowledge or even skill set gives the village council members the authority to make the decision that what police officers are trained to do isn't what they should be doing? Village council members asked what training is being provided for the officers, but in the next breath wanting to know why the village is spending money on these trainings. And the question was posed as to the benefits of the training. Not one council member, to my knowledge, is qualified to determine what trainings are beneficial to our officers and what is not. That's evident by the council's lack of understanding the job duties of a police officer beyond writing tickets. I would like to remind the village council that education and training of these officers is not only essential to the officers' everyday job, but also to their continuing education, and also provides a blanket, a legal blanket for the village. It would be encouraging for the community to see the village council members supporting our local law enforcement officers instead of degrading them and their profession. Supporting the officers and working with them instead of against them would align with your mission and vision statement. A council member admitted and gloated about driving 65 miles per hour through the town while on her phone. She admitted she drives like a jerk, confessed that if an officer pulled her over, the officer providing education to her regarding the speed limit wouldn't do any good because she's been driving for a while and she knows the laws. She said she would continue to drive the same, and if the officer gave her a ticket, she'd be mad. This council member could have killed someone driving like a jerk, and she continues to drive in that same manner. She evidently has no regard for the laws, local law enforcement, or authority. What's worse is she continues to put other people's lives at risk while knowingly driving like a jerk, per her own admission. Someone of this dangerous and appalling mindset doesn't deserve to represent the village of St. Charles in any capacity.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else have something to
Yeah,
give your name?
Paul Jendersky. Last month.
3 minutes.
Pardon?
You've got 3 minutes.
Last month in the village council meeting, in the middle of the meeting, you kicked us all out of here in the middle of the session, which should have been done before or after. I don't believe that's legal, I don't think it's right or ethical for you to do that. There were senior citizens in here, you made us stand outside for almost 40 minutes. That lady couldn't stand anymore, she had to leave. It was because of you. Kicking us out is very wrong, especially in the middle of the meeting. You could have did it before or after. So I don't believe it's right, and I hope it never happens again, because we will challenge it next time. So once again, nothing's been done about anything we've complained about. You guys only seem to worry about the stuff you guys want to complain about the blight, the water, the complaint forms, sidewalks. You guys did nothing. You got back to nobody about nothing about any of that. So I don't know what else to do. I mean, we'll be glad to see you go, but that's my complaint, and I hope it changes.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Hi. Sorry.
Your name,
I'm
please?
Christy Lorenz. I too was very disturbed to listen to your council minutes. The council member had no worries about other people's lives the day she was driving 65. I have tons of family and members from this town that I would not want to see get in an accident because somebody was going 65 and on their phone. And then really, do you know what the police was doing in his vehicle? He could have been writing a report, he could have been getting a call. I go by him all the time and I'll look and I'll say, oh, I wonder who that is, and they're looking down. They're not ignoring the situation, they're busy, just like everybody else. But to put everybody's lives in jeopardy because you guys are in arms about our police, which I think they're doing a wonderful job. I am so for the resource officer at our school. I have grandbabies that go there, and I have 2 children that work there. So I want their lives safe. I used to work there, and I worried. about the safety. So I know it's all about money and budgets, and thank goodness for the ARPA money and what you guys have put in, but I think it's something that needs to last because of the way the day and age is. You gotta have a resource officer there to make the kids think twice about what they're gonna do. You know, they're gonna, like, I think Julie commented, the day she was off, there was a fight. Now, that person maybe would have thought twice if the resource officer was there. So that's just my concern. I'm a passionate parent, community member, and I think this council is supposed to represent St. Charles and be committed to St. Charles and set an example. So I just would hope that things can get better and get back on track and listen to the voices of the people and just all try to work together, because that's what we need to do with the way that the times are. But I just was disturbed at your last video, and I know it was shared over and over with a lot of people, so it's out there. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Mr. Cherry?
Michael Yankee. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I don't know if it's on your agenda or whatever, but I wanna talk about the sewer system we have in town. It sucks,
You got 3 minutes.
period. I live on the corner of Miami and Bell, and the only thing I get from everybody is, well, it's on the corner at Water and Miami. That's where the damage is. Well, it's been this way for 11 years. Let's fix it. If the finance isn't there, I guess we gotta do something about that. Cause I'm unhappy with my yard being flooded every year with 11 inches of water almost around it. This year didn't do it because we were very dry.
Thank you very much for your comment. Anyone else? Not, we'll move on. Let's see, Spicer report.
Good evening. I believe you guys all got the engineer's report, should be in your packet. We're gonna go a little bit out of order, and first off, I wanna congratulate the village on the Category B grant they received through MDOT. I know we just got news, what was it, last week, 2 weeks ago? That was a very competitive grant. I believe there was over 60 communities that applied for it, and only 16 were funded, so there was only $3 million worth of funding available, and I forget, Hart, do you remember what was applied for?
Ours?
No, what was, total amount of money applied for? It was a crazy amount, so, and they only give out $3 million worth of funding, so that's great news. We'll incorporate that right into our phase 1 project. Just an update kind of on the phase 1 project, we received the Eagle permit. The county has approved the resolutions on their end. So right now, we're gonna incorporate the Category B project now into the phase 1 project and get the financial team up to speed with where we're gonna be at with total project cost and keep moving forward. Right now, the plan is to push the plans out for another utility review tomorrow. We've got the letters ready to go. And then, like I said, it'll just be finalizing the Category B grant portion of the project and incorporating that into phase 1 and wrapping it up.
Mitchell, and what is phase 1? And what are we doing in this project? And to your answer, there was a total of $8.5 million awarded to the 16 communities, $5.5 million in matching amount, and like you said, $3 million in grant money, and we received $250,000 for a total of $529,714 worth of new roads coming to St. Charles.
So that, and that's a good point, Hart. I mean, so in the phase 1 project, originally it was only a water main project. You know, we were gonna do the bare minimum when it came to road work and sidewalk work, you know, and sidewalk ramps. And in applying for the Category B, we'll be able to go through and we'll be able to complete the water system work and as well as come back and repave the roads. We applied for East Bell from the corner of 52 to the water tower, essentially Chestnut Street right there. Clinton Ave from, I believe it is, it's not Chesting, what's the next? Marcy to, Hosmer, and then we did Hosmer through the length of the project as well. So we'll be able to repave the roads, Bell and Clinton will be mill and fill, so we'll repair where the water main trench is and then come in and mill and repave. And then Hosmer will be a crush and shade.
Is that water services too?
Yes, it is.
And so that's phase one. Would the area that they're discussing be in phase two?
Area they're discussing.
Yeah, the Miami, the Bell,
Miami
Bell.
East Bell.
That's a storm sewer.
Yep, but, so
Yes.
that,
Correct,
is that our storm sewer? And are you not working on, we're looking at upgrading that, are we not?
It is part of the Miami, and that area is part of phase two, yes. And, you know, with the category B that we received, we'll be able to do minor storm sewer improvements as far as, you know, what's available to do on the roads that we're doing the phase one on. All sidewalk ramps will be made ADA accessible. We'll go back and, you know, detectable warning surfaces. It'll kind of bring all the project together, you know, being able to do the roads as well. But like I said, we're moving that project forward and we're still shooting for, I believe it was a January, February bid. So, any questions on phase one or category B? They're kind of one project, but two projects.
So you're doing basically 3 roads, is that what you're saying, Bell?
East Bell, Clinton, and Hosmer, yes.
East Bell at Chesney.
East Bell from the corner to Chesney. Yep.
So we're beyond that.
Yes, so down below the floodplain.
So when would the first phase start?
We're hoping to have shovels in the ground in spring.
Okay.
I would
And when-
say just a general date would be like May 1st when frost laws come off is what we're shooting
How
for.
about phase two?
Phase two,
I think that was at least
2028.
2025, between 2025 and 2028,
Yeah, something.
based on the $3.6 million bond we're going out for phase one.
Drinking water asset management grant. Eagle had their year end September 30th, so we were working this last month, kind of wrapping everything up from the hydro excavation portion of the project. Pipe Tech was out, they finished up their restoration. We compiled the services or the addresses that we did. Right now, we're gonna begin working on the interior verification, the point one, working with homeowners to get in and verify. I know Don's been working on that, and staff. So that's kind of the last portion of the DSMI part of that grant, and then we're going to get into the asset management part of the grant and really start looking at condition assessment and seeing, you know, how we can improve and help Don and staff and Hart know exactly where their assets are as far as condition assessment, criticality, and whatnot. Very similar to the SAW grant we completed a few years ago. Any questions on DWAM? And then the last couple of things I want to touch on is we've, I think, included in the agenda today, Don was having some issues at the Maple Street pump station with a power outage. We've reached out to Kenny Industries and Klein Electric and looking to add some electronics there to help the DPW, you know, notify when there's a power outage. We're adding mission units which will identify the power outage if pumps are running longer than they should be. Generators on,
I thought there was a generator.
high water, what's that?
I thought there was a generator.
Yeah, and so they'll be able to monitor each station remotely. They've got the program on the computer in the DPW there. That's the mission units are the same thing, they monitor the water tower on right now. So we're looking at adding those to each pump station. Each unit will, you know, if there's upgrades in the future that the village wants to do, it will be compatible. I mean, they're a pretty basic unit for what it's worth, but they shouldn't, the software shouldn't go out of date I mean, Mission's been around for quite a while. Like I said, it's on the water tower right now, so, you know, if there is an upgrade in the future, it would be a possibility to reuse that unit with the newer pumps or whatever it may be controlled with. And then, you know, kind of in the last week or so, we've started looking at a sidewalk project on Spruce Street with Hart and just working on scoping that out and seeing exactly where we can go and what we can do with it.
Down to Ithaca, out to the village. We're gonna get some project costs. We're gonna look at potentially a special assessment district. See if the apartment complex wants to be a part of the project, and what kind of assessment we'd have to go through, so they're working on that right now.
I think that's all we've got. Hart, did we forget anything? Don?
Just the quote we'll talk about later for the upgrades to mission, but I think that's
Any
it.
questions? Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you. Next item is the council minutes for the September 14th. Any adjustments to those minutes? Any question on the minutes?
Motion to accept the minutes.
Support.
September 13th meeting.
Couldn't hear you.
Motion to accept the minutes from the September 14th meeting.
Do I hear a motion to approve and, we had a motion to approve and, the minutes as presented. Is there support?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are carried. Motion's carried. Next item up is the commission and committee reports. The first one's the Parks and Recreation Committee for September 21st. Any question on those minutes? If not, let's move on to the Planning Commission, September 22. Any question on those minutes?
I would just add to Planning Commission, Woolgas submitted their site plan review for the car wash. It was approved by the Planning Commission. The specs and the documents and everything is on Scott's desk. He is out today with illness, so they were not reviewed today, but he's hoping to get in, feel better by Friday and have them reviewed so we can move forward with that project.
Thank you. We'll move on to the Downtown Development Authority minutes for October 7th. Any questions on those?
I just want to mention that I appreciate all the years that Sue and Jack Bear had the sports shop, and glad that it was able to be taken over by some local people and carry on.
And they've done a nice job fixing it up. I think they've put over $16,000 of their own money into that, with paint and gutters and signage. And they're still working, so, the DDA did approve to match the 50% facade grant for their signage and the gutters, so $3,350, which, doesn't seem like a lot to what they've put in, but they're very thankful and appreciative. And that facade grant program is for all DDA businesses, 50% matching grant to upgrade your parking, your signage, your paint, just try to spruce up downtown. Just waiting on a few more buildings to either be foreclosed on, hopefully January. There's a show cause hearing, and then March 31st they'll be up for auction, so that's the hopes at the moment.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding those minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to accept and file the Park and Recreation Commission meetings minutes, the Planning Commission minutes, and the Downtown Development Authority minutes?
I move to accept and file those minutes.
I'll second
Support? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to communications, you got your review, your review magazine.
So how do you say this name?
I'm not a Uber, my mom.
Any
is.
highlights in that you want to review?
I don't go past Gladstone, I don't know, barely to Escanaba.
Next item is the Saginaw County Parks and Recreation, Play in the Parks. Bulletin notice, what do you want to call it? Any highlights you wanna review in that?
Cider and Donut Hike, 5:30 to 6:30 PM at Ringwood Forest on November 2nd. Eating donuts while hiking, productive.
Moving on to the payment of claims. Anybody have any questions regarding the claims? If not, do I hear a motion to pay the claims?
I'll make a motion, we pay the claims in the amount of $118,131.30.
Support?
Support.
All those in favor?
Right.
Those opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to new business. Museum caboose and flag.
Mr. Palmer is here. The museum has moved downtown, or moving downtown to Style Trend. One of the things they're looking to do is move the caboose. Downtown, we're kind of trying to find an area. I spoke with Don Hundley from MDOT, so they have a lease and they keep the upkeep of the share and park and ride behind Style Trend. He's looking for, with the real estate office, for the lease agreement to see what is allowed. So I'll have more information for the museum board and Mr. Palmer soon on that. The other thing we're looking at is the flagpole. He'd like to move it downtown to, I believe, the Second Boulevard behind the kiosk or something along those lines.
Yes, something that it could be seen when it comes into, coming to
And
town.
so we're checking the electrical of Cornford Electric. It is checking to see if the wattage and compatibility, and the DDA is also looking into perhaps upgrading our electrical capabilities downtown. I remember the old-fashioned Christmas parade when people are trying to set up their stands and their electrical. There's not the wattage, old, outdated plugs. So Pat's going to look into that to see if it's something we can do, and then hopefully upgrade over there as well, and see if they want to move it. So it'd be the kiosk, and then the flagpole, and then the water tower. It could be a cool little view as you come into town. But is there anything you'd like to add, Mr. Palmer?
Not at this time.
What, tell me again where you're wanting to put the caboose? Tell me.
They're thinking behind, either behind Style Trend where the old truck was,
In the parking lot? you
in
mean?
the parking lot,
Or where they used to park.
where they used to park the Style Trend.
Oh, right by the dumpster?
Correct, and we gotta fix up those dumpsters a little bit too. But, so,
Is that part of the alley?
it's not technically part of the alley, but according to the GIS, I
It's
mean,
not part of the alley?
not technically, no.
So what is it a part of?
But we own it all, but, it's part of the MDOT, park and ride program that they entered into a lease agreement years ago. I believe, when did MDOT just upgrade that?
They just upgraded the paving in
Probably 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
So they have some kind of ownership or some kind of partnership. We went through all the books and records in the vault. We couldn't find the lease, so Don's looking for it. I'm probably sure it was done probably 10, 15 years ago, maybe more. So,
They paid for all the improvements, we just, wow, it's all.
so once we find that out, we can move forward with figuring out how to help the museum.
So we're gonna let that wait for the updates and stuff.
Yep.
Moving on, we have the Spicer sewer upgrades. I believe he covered most of that, didn't he?
Yep, so this is a letter from Mitchell, kind of assessing the pump stations and adding mission units that allow us to monitor from computer, like we do with the water tower. Sometimes that's how we catch water main breaks, when we see the dip and the pressurized drop. Don and Jason normally check this every morning.
Like on the water tower, when they hit a fire hydrant down by the church there, the tower calls us and gives us an alarm, so you know something's going on right now.
So it catches it a little faster.
And on the sewer, it would tell us power outages, power usage, a lot of times we have problems with adult wipes plugging the pumps up. Right now, we have to physically go down there and check it every day to find it. We have no, it's a 30-foot can you have to climb down into. And this way, we would be able to monitor it from our computer with our emission unit that we do with the water tower already right now.
They say flushable, but they're really not.
Yeah, they're not.
It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet to some company that says flushable on there. It's a problem throughout the nation, truly.
Yeah, that's, you have to pull the pump, there's no easy cleaning, but anyway, it would alert us a lot earlier. Right now, we physically go down there every day to check it.
This system will take care of it. The
Well,
system.
it'll alert, it's not gonna take care of the flushable.
But it'll alert you and take
It'll
care
let
of
us
that
know
part.
earlier, so the pump's not laboring down there.
Next, we covered the MDOT category grant.
But we would need to make a move on this, the letter, it's a Spicer recommendation to award the project to Kennedy Industries and Klein Electric, with cost, to move forward with this work.
I make a motion that we allow Kennedy Industries and Klein Electric to go ahead with the new pump stations in the amount of $25,650.
Pump station mission units. The new-
Yeah.
The new pump
Yeah.
station's probably 700,000, but we're looking at those two.
Support? Roll call?
Lois Tiley, absent. Diane Dennis, absent. Marie Rowe,
Yay,
yay.
yeah.
Richard Horner,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Support.
and Sarah Tiley.
Yes.
Motion's carried. Moving on to the resolution 22-11 to improve the Mid-Michigan Waste Authority member agreement.
So we've been a member of the Mid-Michigan Waste Authority since 1991. It's normally 9 to 10 year contracts. As you know, we've been working throughout the year to get new contracts, bidding out. Being a part of the authority with all these other municipalities, we tend to get lower prices on bids because of, we have strength in numbers and so many users. So this would be renew our membership into the Mid-Michigan Waste Authority through December 31st of 2032. There is a termination clause in there, so if people aren't happy with what's going on, we do have the ability to leave it. We're not stuck in this contract by any means or held harmless. So I believe the township approved theirs last night.
Yes, we did.
Roll call?
Do we need a motion to support?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we support resolution 2211 to approve the Mid-Michigan Waste Authority member agreement.
Support.
Support. Roll call?
Lois Tiley, absent. Diane Dennis, absent. Marie Rowe,
Yay.
Richard Horner,
Yes.
Michael Nesbitt,
Yes.
Kathy Harris,
Yes.
and Sarah Tiley.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
I would just add that we're close to, the estimated water bills are coming out for next January. Next year, they should be lower than this year. There has been a little delay in the cart service, laying them out, getting them to people. So there is a stipulation in our payment to, the board that if the carts aren't here by midsummer, we're not paying as much, if we're still doing it manually, so the price would drop again. But just like everything else, they're having trouble finding workers. They are moving to different trucks. We won't have to pay any more fuel surcharge going forward for the next 10 years, which is huge because that's where we've been spending all our money this year. The gas prices are up, therefore the trucks are using more fuel, therefore our costs have gone up. So the no fuel surcharge will be huge, and they're moving to compressed natural gas trucks. We'll see if that helps them, but should see lower garbage bill, recycling, yard waste, etc.
Thank you. Item E, the DPW employee.
It's really, we've talked about it before, Tito is not going to be here forever. His institutional knowledge of where every water service line is, where every sewer main, everything is going to be missed. Don and I have been discussing the appropriate time to start thinking about replacing him, and I think the conversation needs to happen. Don, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Tito's talked about a lot in the past, but I know he's really serious about it now, and I'm sure it'll happen next summer sometime. And we would really like to get someone on board before the new water project starts, because that'll be a heck of an opportunity for someone to learn a lot about the system and get as much as they can from Tito on how things work and run, and get someone in here and get them trained.
Are you looking for someone to move up into his spot and then taking someone in?
Well, there really is
lower?
no spot, they're all classified the same.
Hmm.
As far as knowledge goes, yes, he is much.
The new guy will have to go to the classes and
Right,
stuff.
if he gets.
And that's gonna
if he
take
gets
a
his
while
license,
too.
But I mean, as far as, he'll be a crew member, but all three of the crew members basically are the same position, but still, this person will pretty much be replacing Tito's duties.
So the part of it will be, he'll be with Tito every day for at least, hopefully through the water main project, get that knowledge, work on trucks, work on digging, while taking the classes. And I know Tito's threatened to leave here since 1983, but,
He's serious this time.
yeah, so we had MERS come out to kind of, it's something I like to do once a year to kind of help people understand and see where they are financially for retirement. I don't want anybody to be surprised. We lost Ricky, kind of unexpectedly, and I don't know if he got all the information he needed, so it's one of those things I've been trying to make sure that our employees know what their options are. And when MERS came out, after the private meetings with every individual, if they wanted it, I asked her, I said, so straight up, how long does he have? And talking about till retirement, she's like 2 max, but he can be out of here by next summer. So I think he's looking at enjoying some time with family, and I think we need to seriously consider adding an employee. Whether you want me to start interviews now and go through the process. Look at the financials, I think we'll be fine to add the position full-time.
Probably be a lot easier for him to go to if he knows there's someone.
And there might be times where we have to call him back and say, hey, we can't find this line. He's like, well, I dug it in 75 and I hit it over here. Which has happened. He's like, oh, you guys are looking in the way wrong spot. I put it across the street. Will I do that? I don't know.
Let's say we have maybe we can get a motion to go ahead, have Hart go ahead and start searching.
I think it would be a good idea to do it now, that way they don't have to push a whole bunch of training on them all at once, or.
And as
more
much
time.
knowledge as we can get out of him to the new person, it's better for us.
We're gonna lose a lot, but don't tell Tito I
There's
said
not
that.
gonna be too many people to take his place.
I think he
You're gonna
knows
have
that
to
already.
search.
And he does care a lot about the village, he wants to leave it in a good place.
Tell him to make us a
Might
map
take some
then.
looking.
We got maps, but his stuff's.
We need a Tito map.
And that is one of the things we're kind of working on with these service lines, and part of the DWAN and part of the these grants that we've received is assessing the lines and having him mark them out, and then we're kind of putting them digitally into the iPad and pictures so that we know exactly where they are with coordinates and everything. So it's also part of the process. But
Back in the day, and it isn't just your record keep, there wasn't a lot of emphasis put on record keeping 30, 40 years ago.
that's a nice way of saying it's all in
Broken
Tito's
hand
head.
up here,
Yeah,
too.
so we're trying to get it out of there.
And Spicer, we have been updating a lot of stuff on GIS, but it takes time. There's a lot of equipment in the ground in this village, and not all of it's on a map.
So I'd like to begin the process of posting and moving forward with interviews and see if we can get in someone, hopefully as soon as possible, but definitely by next budget cycle, if not sooner. January, hopefully would be great.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he's talked and joked a lot, but he's finally serious.
The tone has changed,
Yeah.
so.
He's earned it. I don't-
Yeah,
he's busted his tail.
What would be the requirements for someone to apply?
I don't, it's just the basic general knowledge, I think, is what we're gonna go with. I think, this day and age, we just want somebody that can be trained and has a will that wants to work.
I'd like to throw out a high school diploma,
Well, yeah.
GED, with the ability to get your license
Licenses,
within
CDL within 6 months.
6 months, and then do they need the water side, or
Eventually, I mean, but.
within a year or two? Obviously, Jason has his to cover, and Don has his, so let's start that training.
This day and age, I think we just want somebody that wants to work, is willing to be trained.
And that's hard to find.
Did we hear a motion?
Not yet,
We were still talking.
we're still talking.
I make a motion, then you go ahead and, put out your feelers for
Post the
somebody.
position.
I'll support,
Support?
I'll support.
Yes.
Over here, okay.
You gotta be loud.
Aye.
You're not
Um,
outside.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Tricks or treat hours.
So every year we set trick or treat hours. It's not a village sanctioned event, but rather a nationally recognized holiday. So take it for what it's worth. You can go whenever you want. We can't stop you. But we tend to set them just for the safety of the kids based on how dark it is. Most municipalities go 6 to 8, so we've been going 5:30 to 7:30. It's a little lighter for the walking on the sidewalks, streets. And if you finish in St. Charles, you can get the other municipalities and take their candy too. That's how I've always looked at it. So, pardon?
Right on Halloween.
Correct. So 5:30 to 7:30 has been the standard for prior to my arrival, and if you'd like to continue that, if you think we should match the 6 to 8, but it's 7:40 right now, and if you look out, it's pretty dark, so.
I'll make a motion, we set trick or treat hours to 5:30 to 7:30.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just for legalese, not a village sanctioned event, just a nationally recognized holiday.
Guidelines.
Candy day.
Suggested.
Old fashioned Christmas.
No, this is a village sanctioned event. We normally have the tree lighting in Colonial Park and a parade. COVID kind of threw off some things in 2020. We tried to get it back on track last year. I think we did the treat. I think we gave away 27 bikes, 5 sleds, a lot of cool things for the children. We're going to try to boost that even more this year because it's really about the kids. Try to get more floats, more participants. So in the past we've set the tree at 5 p.m. and the parade at 6. One year we did it a little later and there was too much time between. I've received quite a few complaints about that. So if we do all the bike giveaways and toys and whatnot after the parade downtown, you don't need as much time in between. So whatever you feel is best. We're looking to make it bigger every year. I still want to get fireworks some year. Just take them off the DNR launch and just have a huge show. Because everybody else is, Hemlock started doing theirs, a copycat, but whatever. If they don't have fireworks, they don't have fireworks. So we'll work on that. And I think, Don, you have a fireworks guy, don't you?
I know somebody.
I've talked to Stale already about getting it approved, but we'll keep working on that. So whatever you guys think, it's time to start moving forward with this and collecting bikes. I know it's always hard because we ask businesses to donate for hometown days and they do so much, and then we come back a month later, hey, happy Thanksgiving, by the way. We need more money for bikes, but I know Jenny and Mike donate a lot of money. My wife and I try to contribute. Everybody tries to contribute, so it's been a big deal, and let's keep it going. The DDA did approve, I think, 68 ads to run on 97.3 FM, Joe FM. So there's talks from the DDA about having a concert afterward, maybe. There's a lot of things
Nice.
trying to boost it.
It's nice.
Well, the trees go on sale November 1st, I better say that before I get in trouble. There's been years where people don't get them and they're upset. Then you put them up
November
normally, and they're,
November first.
yep, I think they're $20.
First come, first serve.
Carbon,
Don't hold 'em.
Charbonneau's is donated again, even though they're not gonna be open, just phenomenal. Don, you like them to go up, what, week of Thanksgiving?
I think so, or the week before, we'd have to look at the same week that we always do.
Yeah, so the third week.
It works
In
out
November.
great that people that get together, families can decorate together on Thanksgiving. That's nice.
Just remember, it's first come, first served.
No holds.
There's no hold, right?
And I believe the date is December 3rd this year. The first, your team might make the Big Ten championship, you might miss out. My team will not be there, so I'll be able to participate in the parade. Not that I thought about that in years past.
What action you need from us?
Approval of the times,
Okay.
the time you'd like to have the party.
Have a motion for the times.
I'll make a motion to have the tree lighting at 5 o'clock at the park and parade at 6 o'clock downtown.
Support?
Sport.
All those in favor?
Right,
Five and 6.
so we said.
And we'll try to get hot cocoa up there, and I know we weren't allowed to give it away in 2020. But we came
did
back
last
last year. We did last year, and we'll have some donuts hopefully and some cookies, and I don't know if we'll bring the hay rides back, but I thought that was always pretty cool. We'll have burn barrels and hope the weather cooperates.
Let's move on to the department reports, DPW report.
On the water end, we did have 2 water main breaks. We also had a hydrant hit down on West Clinton by a car. There was lots of people around, but nobody seen them. But that was one issue where that mission unit on the water tower, as soon as we got here, it let us know something was going on. That technology is a great thing to have. Sewer end, we're getting ready to isolate our ponds and dump discharge for the fall. Streets, we did get the salt delivered for the year. The brush pickup was completed for the season. Getting equipment ready for snow.
And we got that brand new dump truck.
Yeah, it's,
Got
hopefully,
your plow on your new truck?
a year later, and it's here, but, you know, the old guy, she's tired, I don't know if she'd have made it another year, so. But,
You gotta get our use out of that truck. The 19,
Yeah.
the old one.
We could donate it to Tito when he goes.
We've
Just an
actually-
idea.
We're
Give them a
still,
ride through town.
we're
ain't it?
still using it, actually, I mean, I'm sure,
It's pretty holy.
yeah, the bed's pretty leaky.
So Don, I'm just curious, how do you determine every year how much salt to order?
We order 100 ton every year usually.
Okay.
And it's a contract
It's a
contract through My Deal.
through MDOT, yeah.
My
Oh,
Deal, so they,
okay.
we get a set price so that they don't really raise rates on us, and then they call you that morning and say,
Yeah,
hey, we've got your
yeah.
truck, open the gates, or where's everybody at?
And we have the ability to store about 100 tons, so if we got 50 left, it just stays in the barn and.
Oh, so you can keep that year round then
Yeah,
for next
yeah.
year? Okay.
Was it 2 years ago we had a light winter?
Yeah, we had a light
So-
winter, and I think we were able to only have to order 50 ton one year, but normally it's 100
I'm just
ton.
gonna save it for next year.
Right.
But it's state pricing through the state of Michigan, so.
Any questions of Don? Let's move on to the police department report.
Well, the only other thing I forgot to mention, our lead and copper was all done for the year. We did not have anything above the maximum contaminant levels, so.
Better throw that in the end, that should have been first.
Yeah, I know what I just, my notes were quick.
Hey, by the way, your water's safe.
Yeah,
Would've been nice.
safe drinks.
Julie?
It was an interesting month for sure. I got to share some really neat stories with the village girls. So October picked up with our training of our new officers. So is there any questions about that report?
school's really pleased with Officer Ott being in the building and across the road in elementary, and we think she's doing a great job.
Wonderful, I'll share that with her. I know she had a little blurb to stick in there as well, so you guys kinda got a real small picture of her first month at the school.
Is she at the elementary school too?
She does some time there, most of her time, 2/3 of her time is in the junior high and high school, and then
'Cause I
she goes
seen
to the elementary school as well.
At the powder puff game when she walked through and there was like 5 little kids, Officer Ott, Officer Ott, they were so excited to see her.
Yeah, I appreciate her young vigor and, ability to just deal with the struggles that teenagers have, that as adults, maybe we kinda go, oh.
She's pretty sarcastic, so she fits in well, I'm sure.
She has a good time with them for sure. Well, if there's no questions, I'm just gonna make a quick statement here. There's just been a lot of scuttlebutt, and I want you guys to know that being in law enforcement, as many other careers, is not always appreciated or understood. We realize that, but we humbly wear this badge with honor in St. Charles. We appreciate the opportunity to serve and protect the village of St. Charles, and our staff has moved to the area to do so. I'm not only a chief, I'm a resident. Officer Ott lives about 3 miles away, and Officer Thompson's moved to about 10 miles away. We train, learn, serve, and protect this community with passion, purpose, and integrity. I listen to concerns, comments, and opinions on a very regular basis, and much of the village actually has my cell phone number. They'll call me right up. I seek counsel and expertise from several places, one of them being our chiefs of police in Saginaw County, who have many years of experience between them. We desire to build and maintain a relevant, strong, educated department, and we will continue to committed service to protect and serve the village of St. Charles. The expected disagreements and conflicts that arise will not cause us to waver in that.
Any questions of Carol, of Julie?
Nope, not for me.
Moving on to the building inspector report, and he isn't here tonight.
No, as I mentioned, he's sick. He called at 7:30 this morning. He sounded awful. I told him to stay home. Don't get anybody else sick. As you see, he has to recheck on, it's supposed to be today, so it'll be hopefully Friday, 10/14 on, numbers 1 and 2. The bottom 2 are resolved. No permitting coming in. I know Wolgas will be paying quite a bit in permitting fees over the next year, so, that number should increase.
Okay. Back to public comments. Anything to final meeting out?
Name's Troy Freed. I've been meaning to come in. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, I know Don is, but water quality, like on Ithaca Road, dead end lines, you gotta flush that, depending upon the size of diameter, how many services and usage, which there's rules by Eagle and Lansing which puts that out. Do we have a flushing schedule?
Yeah, we have a routine flushing schedule.
Do we have it documented?
We have a program, yeah, the flushing.
That where we can see, just because, not just myself, I've been out there almost 20 years, and it's a dead end line, and what happens if that water's not turned, it gets stagnant, not good.
Yeah,
So.
We actually test for the disinfection byproducts, which that is indicating the age of the water in the water.
Right, I understand all that. I got a buddy that works for Eagle and Lansing in the water, but I was thinking of taking it and letting him test it, but there's something off right now. And I don't know, my first thing is flushing, turning the water, because if it sits stagnant in those dead end lines, it's not good.
I mean, I guess this is the first we've heard on Lake Shore Drive, but not on Ithaca Road, any complaints. But I know Marie.
Ryan's experience,
But
I
we
mean.
do flush regularly and test for chlorine.
How often are we flushing?
We flush for sure once a year, but as we get complaints, we flush as complaints come in.
Have we looked at Eagle's rules on How many services are you using based on a date online?
They say you have to flush annually, and you can test it as, we test as if we get a complaint. We rarely get complaints, and if you have an issue, we appreciate you calling.
Okay.
And if we do have if somebody really thinks something's off, we'll get a test through the city of Saginaw lab. I'm just, that's the way
Right.
it works, nobody else probably does.
Right,
but-
I understand. I didn't mean to come in and mention it, and there's people out there that's mentioned it to me just because I'm kind of in that industry.
There's
So,
a fine line between wasting water and water quality too.
I understand it all. I'm just saying, there's something off right in our water.
Just remind them, the meeting is the second Wednesday of the month. We'd be glad to have them come in if they wanna come in too.
And we'll get it tested. I mean, that's what the city of Saginaw's for.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Somebody was supposed to be up to address the no parking signs along Chesaning Street, and then Bell Avenue and Chesaning Street. You put no parking signs along there, what's up with that? I mean, parallel parking, they tell us they can park parallel there, and then they put no parking sign there. Where you put the sign, if you cared about that property, that's probably the biggest blight in St. Charles, then you put a no parking sign there. You yell at a guy who fixed that old decrepit double wide up, try getting him for blight down there, and right across the street, you guys got the biggest blight there is, right along the tracks. There's picker bushes, poison ivy, dead trees falling, not cleaned up. You planted trees there with probably good intentions, and then you let trees grow up around it, you never trimmed around them, and it's terrible. Then you put a no parking sign out there, what's up with that?
Where you at, Paul?
Chesaning and Vine, and then right at the end of,
Behind the water tower,
yeah, one by the water tower where
and then the one on water.
and then there's people parking right behind it last night, I got pictures of it. It's like, really? So, why did you even put them there? If you can't park there, you shouldn't be able to park anywhere else, right? Why are they there? He's trying to send a message to somebody?
No, it's because the one down on Chesaning Street, we had a resident parking on their lawn when it was raining, they rutted it all up.
Yeah, well, that was addressed, but they just pulled across there when they had to plow their driveway or
It was
whatever.
quite frequent in the spring, there was rust. in
Well,
that.
I mean, you said if you cared about it, you would've got it cleaned up. I mean, you planted all them pine trees along there, did you ever,
I did
did
not.
you ever weed whack around them? Never. Them trees are growing taller than the trees you planted. You seen the dead trees down there, and that's the biggest blight through in town. I said something to you about it 7 months ago, and you guys said did nothing. So,
I think
I don't know what's up with them,
You've covered the issue.
I don't know what's up with them parking signs, but
But
they
the
were
one
supposed to be
by
up to
the-
address that.
The one by Water Street was a replacement of one that was there.
There was not a sign there that I seen.
I think the police chief would differ from that. The one on, there was a no parking sign on Water Street by the haunted house, wasn't there?
Yeah, oh yeah, there
Well, there's a
has
new one
been.
there, I never noticed one there before.
Yeah, we've only cited a couple of times.
I'll say people were parked behind it last night, I got pictures with 3 cars behind it last night, I flew over them, so. You just wanna know what's up with that, you might wanna look into it.
I'd like to see those trees gone too, Paul. That could be a good winter project.
They were planted years ago by the village, and I think they're all diseased, and they were diseased when they planted them. They have good intentions, but they're not.
They look awful.
They do.
It's under our purview, we've talked about it.
And the other no parking.
Anyone else? If
We
not,
can't hear you.
oh,
Sherry Yankee. I have a concern, I don't know if anything has been thought about, but we had the flood in 2020. And in the spring, I noticed when I went down the rail trail, there's a lot of trees that even tangled up in the rail trail crossing over the river. Is there any plans perhaps of doing another river cleanup to make sure that we clear whatever debris has been shoved around because of the flood? You know, I just wanted to bring that to your attention as a concern, because if we're gonna have high waters again, that could be a very big issue. Thank you.
We used to have Dale Greaves do it years ago, I think they cut that off.
I can't.
River cleanup crew, Dale Greaves, a long time ago with the bars and that. I said something to you guys here a couple months ago about the drain system and all the trees down there by Brockers and between my mom's and Downey's, and like she's saying along the tracks. Nobody ever cleaned that up.
I don't know if we can do anything with the river itself, that's controlled by the DNR.
I'm not saying that, we're talking about all the tributaries leading into the river.
That's true, I understand.
There's still a log jam against the bridge.
Oh,
Yeah.
big time.
The Army Corps of Engineers used to come in yearly and take that out after the FEMA project, and they kinda quit. It's kind of a volunteer effort.
What
I-
happens when that stops becoming a navigable waterway?
It's a great question.
That on the DNR, we can't use on the road.
That's a DNR. We can just reach out to them and ask them to do something.
You can barely get through there. I mean, barely get through there.
It's random to see somebody in there, actually in there. You see them driving around town a little bit, but
I mean, the only other alternative, you really can't, especially right now with the water so low, put a boat in at the DNR. That spot is the deepest spot in the river, and I don't know why you guys don't utilize that parking lot in that right there, or down by the train bridge. You can do like they do on Pickerel Drain, you put cement barriers or whatever to drive on, you put them in the water and let them pull in right there. It's the deepest spot in the river. It makes the most sense to launch a boat. Maybe widen that there in the park so people can put a boat, a trailer in there. It makes too much sense. I mean, then you don't even have to worry about the bridge. You could literally walk across there from the DNR to the other side, and other than the mud, I don't think it'd be up to your knees.
right. Yep.
Anyone else? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Support?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.